Hello, my name is Payne Hall, and I'm the Agricultural Sales Manager for Gripple Incorporated. I am on location at the historic Adams Ranch near Fort Pierce, Florida, to show the various applications for Gripple fence products. This is the medium Gripple. It works on 10 to 14 gauge smooth wire and also 15.5 gauge barbed wire. The Gripple has a zinc alloy casing, and it has 2 channels, and inside each channel is a ceramic roller and a stainless steel spring. And that is the mechanism that actually grips the wire. You can kind of think of it as a Chinese finger trap type apparatus. And you basically just bring a wire in from one direction because it's a one-way locking channel. You pass the wire under that ceramic roller, and you can see you take the wire this direction, but it will not come back. And that gives it the lock. That makes it the one-way locking channel. So your other channel is going the other direction. So you bring another wire in from this way, get it under that roller, and you can see you can just keep taking this wire this direction, but it won't come back. So that Gripple right there will give you your inline splice on the wire. So the Gripple actually grips and pulls the wire. There is a release function, and it's basically a mistake fixer. You can run your wire through there and say you want your wire set right there, but for whatever reason you mess up and take it too far down, and now you can't take it back. We have these release keys that you can stick down in this little pinhole right here, and it pops that ceramic roller back against that spring, and it takes away the contact between that roller and the wire, and you can move your wire either direction and just completely reset it right where you want it. These are brace cables. These cables are used to brace end posts, corner post, and inline braces. They have a fused end, and they have another end with a pre-made loop on it. So you basically drive a staple in at the base of your end post, corner post, basically anything to just keep the cable from rising up the post. Then you run the fused end through the staple, around the post, and back through the pre-made loop to form a choke knot against the base of the post. Next, you run the cable diagonally up to the opposite post. Thread the cable through the first channel in the Gripple. Take the wire around the post and through a staple. Then back through the second channel in the Gripple to secure the brace. This is now secure as a result of the self-locking Gripple. Pull tight by hand, then you'll apply tension using the Gripple tensioning tool. This tool is lightweight and compact and can apply up to 880 pounds of pressure with a simple squeeze. Open this cam system up by straightening the handles out. And you're just going to set that Gripple right in those jaws, and you're going to put the tail end in the cam system like so. When you relax your handles, that cam system automatically closes. So now to tighten this brace cable, I'm going to crank these handles together, and it's going to pull this cable, which is this cable, through that locking channel. And you get one crank, you come down, use the jaw of the tensioning tool to release the cam, and you just slide it right back up, and you can get another bite. Slide it up and get another bite. And that's really about as tight as you'll ever need. The medium Gripple is designed for joining 10 to 14 gauge smooth wire, either at an end post or in line. Insert the wire into the first channel of the Gripple, and then loop around the post and thread back through the second channel of the Gripple to lock in place. Repeat at the other end post. Tension the line using the Gripple tensioning tool until you're happy with the tension. This tool can also be used to retension your fence later. Snip off excess tail ends, leaving approximately 3 inches to allow for any future retensioning. You can also add a Gripple twister to keep the tail wires neatly and safely concealed. This is the medium gripple on 15.5 gauge high tensile barbed wire. This wire was ran in this direction, this wire was ran in this direction. So when you apply pressure going out on these wires from the gripple, you cannot move the wire. So this would be your inline splice on your 15.5 gauge high tensile barbed wire. One line of the barbed wire goes into the first channel of the gripple, and you can complete the join by inserting the second line into the second channel. When installed, tension the wire using the gripple tensioning tool, which will move the barbs along on the high tensile wire as it's tensioned. Wrap around excess wire to create a neat finish. Or alternatively, you could trim excess tail wires, leaving at least 3 inches to allow for any future retensioning. This is the barbed wire gripple. It operates on the same principle that all of our gripples operate. It has the ceramic rollers and stainless steel springs, 2 one-way locking channels, and it's designed for 12.5 gauge barbed wire, the big gauge barbed wire. And you bring a strand of wire in, get both strands into the channel, and it does help to kind of jiggle it around and corkscrew it on so that it passes through the channel. And once you get it in there, it's locked in place and won't come back. So your other wire comes in, get both strands into the channel, and you can push it through there, but it won't back out. So there's your inline splice with 12.5 gauge barbed wire. This same method of using gripple to repair a broken fence can be applied to smooth wire, barbed wire, and field fence. To fix a break in barbed wire fence, insert a section of smooth wire using 2 gripples. Run each broken end through a channel in the gripple, then run a piece of smooth wire through the 2 spare channels, thus creating the join in the repair. If using 15.5 gauge high tensile barbed wire, use 2 medium gripples and 12.5 gauge smooth wire. If using 12.5 gauge barbed wire, use 2 barbed gripples and 9 gauge smooth wire. Tension the gripple down the smooth wire using the gripple tensioning tool. Trim the ends to complete, and there's the repair. The gripple T-clip is for terminating wire at an end post, and it's ideal for field fence because it prevents you from having to knot and tie every line wire, especially where space is tight. First, twist the T-clip onto the line wire as close as possible to the end post and inside any vertical wires. Then push the tail end of the wire through the channel in the T-clip to secure. This works in the same way as all gripple self-locking channels, preventing the wire from going back through the T-clip and securing the fence in place. Repeat this on every line wire. You can pull the tail wires through to hand tighten. Then you can do the same thing at the other end post. Don't worry, when the fence is tensioned later with the gripple tensioning tool, both ends will tighten up further. You can also create a join at the center of 2 sections of field fence using the medium gripple. This works the same way as it does on smooth wire. Simply insert one end into one self-locking channel and the other end of the wire into the other channel, and repeat on every line wire. Then tension each line individually using the Gripple tensioning tool, giving you an evenly tensioned fence. Once tensioned, you can now trim all excess tail wires. Be sure to leave at least 3 inches of tail wire to allow for any future retensioning on the Gripple. The T-clips on the end posts are now secure, so any excess wire can be trimmed here too, for a neat and professional finish. And there you have it. Try Gripple today for a quick and easy way to install, join, and repair your wire fencing with minimal time and effort.